It's so funny because Nar and I get here and we start talking about stuff and we're like, oh, damn it. We better just get the video rolling because we start talking about all this stuff. I'm sitting here going, okay, I got to move the seat in because my back hurts. If you listen to the last one, I was talking about my back, but I was about ready to tell her, and you'll get this because of the medical industry. You know how sometimes when you just walk in and you talk to a medical provider and you're just listening to them like you're like, yes, 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 I trust you. What are you going to tell me what to do? So the back doctor that I found, he is that way. Like to the point where everything that I've done, like it just makes sense. And I'm like, yes. And it's not, okay, we're going to totally fuse you and you can't move or you can't do any of this. It's like, I understand you want to move and you want to keep doing all the things you want to do and stuff. But I'm like, yes, like I get that. But I think it's going to go into kind of some of the stuff that we're going to talk about a little bit. But
yeah. But can I say something about this?
Yeah.
It's so important to have that good rapport with your provider, whether it's a medical provider you're seeing for some sort of health issue or even your Botox or fillers or whatever. Literally, but it's vice versa. So like you got to come. So for example, if you're going in, so I used to be an ER nurse, right? So when you have no choice, something's hurting, you're coming to the ER, you're stuck with me, honey. Like, and I'm stuck with you for that time being. But if you're going to come in for any type of filler or something, I need some personality, right? Literally, Corry, the other day I had a man that comes in. I'm like, okay, so we're going to be doing XYZ based on our conversation and our consult. His answer is yes. Cool. Okay, so are we doing your Botox? Yes. Like, it was like pulling teeth, trying to get some sort of like, let me build this relationship. Let's have a good conversation. Let's make this appointment like a happy one because we're here for happy things, right? Like getting rid of your wrinkles and plumping up your lips or whatever we're doing. But Jesus, you guys judge us nonstop with like our bedside manners, but then we're also judging you because we're like, you're either talking too much and you shut the fuck up and you need to stop telling me what I need to do. And then sometimes it's like, can you just tell me a little? Like, what do you want? Why are you? I didn't ask you to come here, honey. You came here to see me. So let's just work on that relationship. But yeah.
It's funny that you said that. I had a personal training client once, and I worked with her for months after having a baby, right? Postpartum. And we did all this training, and she was just so like dry the whole time.
Very,
and I was like,
oh God.
I don't know if she's kidding. Like if this is working, like if she's like, I mean, yeah, she's losing body fat and she's getting back in shape after having her baby and all this kind of stuff.
And do you start second guessing yourself? Like, am I doing something wrong?
Yes. And I was like, and then Christmas came along and she gave me this card. And in this card, it was like, thank you so much for giving me my life back, for helping me lose all the baby weight, with like this massage gift certificate for this really nice massage. And I was like, okay. Because sometimes people are just weird like that. You're just like, okay.
And I sometimes think, I'm like, do I have, when you start to second guess yourself, you're thinking, am I coming on too strong? Do I have a strong personality? Like yesterday I was telling you I was interviewing someone who came in for a position, and this poor girl, she's so cute. I really liked her. And I'm like, I want this, I want that, and this is my expectations, all that stuff. Because I was like, I cut the shit. Like, I don't have time to like see if you're a good fit and hire you. No, it takes a lot of time and money and a lot of training on my end to get you on board. But I felt like when I was talking to her, I may have scared her a little bit because I know I have a very strong personality. So she's like, okay. I'm like, well, give me an answer by Friday. Like, if you want to, I was just like, boom, 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 like so on it. And then I had to tell myself, well, I got 22 years on this poor girl. But then Corry, literally, when I was 21 years old, I was the same way. It was just the way I'm built. I was never a timid person. I was always the one where if there was one, so this is the kind of girl I am. If there's that one single girl at a party, especially as a teenager, or even in our 20s, like when we thought we were the shit.
You mean we're not the shit still?
We're totally the shit right now, but in a different light. So if that one person was like up against the wall and just kind of a loner, I would be that girl that would go up to that girl and say, hey, why don't you come on over here? Like, I would make them feel comfortable and say, come this way, let's have a chat. Like, where are you from? What's your name? No one did that for me. Like, if I was, not that I was ever alone, but if I were to be alone, I don't think anyone had the balls to come up to me and be like, hey, what's your name? Are you Nar? Like, nothing. But I was always the one to be like, let me take care of you. Let's have you come join the group.
That's why your business is successful. I
guess.
do so many things with like business and group where there's a bunch of women, and I always talked about like networking and business stuff, and it was just like you were saying there, if you see somebody standing there, go up and introduce yourself in like a business setting or whatever. Everybody in that room is just going, please somebody say something to me so I can tell people what I do because I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
So I have one daughter that's exactly that same way. She will just come and just like bring you into the fold, whether
We're
you like it
special,
or
I
not.
tell ya.
Well, it was funny because I had, Nar has introduced me to the audio messages on your cell phone.
Oh my God, I'm obsessed with audio messages.
Some of this technology stuff, I'm like, oh gosh, I'm getting to that point where I'm like, I don't know the technology anymore. I got to figure it out, or I've got to hand it to my 17-year-old. So when she goes, I don't know how to leave an audio message, I was like, hallelujah, I know something else. But as I remember the first time, like you had left all of them, I'm like, how do you do this back? Like, how do I respond back? Because
Do
this
you
would
know
be great.
why I started doing that? Which leads us to the next topic. My brain works faster than my fingers can type. So first it was more like your traditional texting when you pick up the phone and you go, you type. And then there's a swipe. Do you do the swipe on your keyboard? Okay.
I don't know what you're talking
so
about with the
instead of,
swipe.
okay, so you have the keyboard on your phone, and instead of saying like HELLO, you literally swipe your keyboard like hello, and then it like types it out for you. That's slow for me. And now I'm like, fuck this. So I just go on my phone and I voice record, because voicemails, are they even a thing nowadays? I don't know. Do you leave voicemails on anyone's phone? Like, when was the last time you left a voicemail?
One.
Okay,
and
exactly.
And it's Stacia, because I'm
So-
like, and I have to then follow up with a text to say,
I
listen
left
to my
you a
voicemail.
Exactly. So just leave a voice note. And that's
Right.
because here's what I was telling Corey, you guys, earlier. I can't seem to get a sentence out before interrupting my own sentence, because my thought process is so fast that I'm all over the place. And then when someone asks me a question, I like go about it, and I ask or I'm replaying the question in my head, and I'm explaining halfway through. I'm like, what did she ask me? Like, so when we get together with the girls and we talk about, let's say, the piece of paper that's on the table, we'll share 50 stories before we get back to topic one, which is the paper on the table.
It's like exactly like what we're doing right now.
Exactly. Like what? So I just, sometimes I just don't want to
It
talk
was interesting
because
because,
I'm like, oh my God.
Our good friend Jen, I noticed, I was looking at her every time we're together, she pushes the microphone and she talks the text message in, and she takes pauses and breaks and sends these elaborate, detailed messages. And I'm on the reciprocating end of them. So I see those things. But it was interesting because I needed something. There was a shit ton of stuff this week. And so I couldn't get our podcast from an earlier week actually like loaded into YouTube and done all the right things. Because, if you don't do a podcast, there's like all these things that need to go with. And if you're still like catching up to the technology. And so I asked Nar something, and she's just like, no, we should do this, and we should do this, and we should do this. And I love that, because it's like, I never have to wonder what does Nar actually think? Because Nar just tells me. And it's so funny, because I started doing that with some of my clients as I started leaving voice memos, because I realized, when they're sending something to me about, here's this protein powder and I want to use this protein powder, and I'm looking at it and going, no.
Yeah.
That protein powder does not work. And so I'll spend 2 seconds and explain this. So when I want you on a protein powder, and because it's such a hot topic, I don't want you on a protein powder that's a meal replacement. So somebody will send me something and say, this is this protein powder that I'm looking at. And I used to fire back and be like, no, that can't be the protein powder that you use. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I work with women that are in their 40s and 50s, and they read into everything. So I probably cannot respond to them that way anymore.
Yeah.
I have to say, I'm looking at that protein powder, and for what our goals are and what we're trying to do, I understand it's a vegan protein powder, but no, I don't want it to have brown rice protein powder, and I don't want it to have grain proteins in it. I want it to be just a pea protein isolate. So if you're listening to this, because I can see you're going to say questions. So if I tell you I want you to have a protein powder, it's either a whey isolate from grass-fed, grass-finished beef.
Okay.
Or I want you to have a pea protein isolate, but I just want it to be protein. So for both of these, when you look at these, you want it to be just protein, because if it has all the carbs, well, then you can't have any carbs with that protein powder. Like, if your goal is weight loss, and if you're trying to eat healthier, and if you want, more specifically, if you want to look more toned with less body fat, it's the whole thing, protein. You can't have all that other stuff in it. One of the things I had to teach my daughter is that read a text message exactly for what it is. You can't put any emotion behind it. Like if somebody's saying something.
Oh my God, I put so much emotion. How do they mean it? Like,
yes.
What the hell? Like, did you mean it like...
And especially as women.
Like,
and
especially
I find
the thumbs up emoji. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like, what's the thumbs up? Like, a thumbs up like, good for you, buddy. Like that kind of thumbs up? Or are you doing thumbs up like, okay, cool, I got you. Like, cool.
Or the worst is when just they don't respond at all.
Or the dots that come up on your phone, like on the iPhone the Samsungs won't get this, but the iPhones where it's like the dot, 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 and then they stop. You're like, wait, you were going to write something just now. I saw you trying to write something.
Or you see the dots going on forever and ever and ever and ever. And then they say, yeah, sounds great. You're like, why did it take you so long to write, yeah, sounds great? Okay, so let's go into the meat of kind of what we were going to talk about today. So one of the things that we wanted, this was kind of came from a question that I got is there's a lot of women, and I am in a bunch of different perimenopausal groups and stuff, and I see these questions all the time where women are going to their providers and they're coming in and they're saying, I have all these issues, this is what's going on. And half a dozen of the providers will say yes, that, okay, sure, I'll give you hormones. And the other half will say, no, I'm not giving you hormones, but if you want something, you can do birth control. And so I think one of the things that no usually means that the provider isn't educated on things. And so it means that you're not wrong in the fact of going to your doctor and asking all these questions. But a lot of women also, too, let's take, your typical woman that's, 45, she's overweight, she's got hormone changes, and she goes to the doctor. And a lot of times they're going to say things are normal. They're going to say fix your nutrition, exercise better, when really she wanted to go in and find out about hormone replacement therapy because maybe she's having a period every 3 months or she's having serious night sweats and she's got this like belly fat that won't go. And you and I know there's so many tools here. So I think that's kind of my big thing here would be for women is that, and I'm actually going to be doing a mini TED Talk on advocating for women's health and how you have to just keep pushing because lately with a lot of my clients, I'm finding that I'm looking at their stuff and they're doing hundreds of dollars worth of testing that they're going through and they're finding these things. And it's, here's all these supplements or here's this, or maybe they'll give them some of the, medicines, but they're not necessarily getting what they need. And they walk away feeling like, I'm broken, like nothing's going to work. I just have to decide at 45 or whatever that this is exactly what I'm going to do. So I think one of the things here I think would be really interesting is kind of talk a little bit about then how that whole transition went into, because, for example, I had a client of mine, I sent her to a doctor. I said she really needed a GLP. We had worked on our nutrition, we had worked on everything, but it was just, I'm like, you need a GLP. Like, you really need one of these because I can tell you, you're completely insulin resistant. We've done all this other stuff. I think you're PCOS. Like, you really need this. And of course, she goes in and goes to the doctor, and the doctor's like, yeah, that might work, but your insurance is never going to cover it.
Exactly. I was just going to say, it's all, when you go to a medical practice, so let's just put what I do aside, like med spas aside. When you go through medical practice, great. It's fantastic that your insurance will cover the GLP-1s, but that's all it is. Unfortunately, these providers, and they're stuck too, right? Because their doctors are well educated in a lot of stuff, but then the structure of the hospital or the medical world doesn't allow them to prescribe, even if they wanted to, because of insurance. At the end of the day, you're just a number. It's seldom that you will find a provider that truly will sit down like you or me and say, okay, what are we looking at? How's your diet? What's going on? Like, let's look at the big picture versus your BMI is fine, your blood work is fine, your X, Y, and Z is fine. So I can't prescribe it to you anymore. So even with those who have gone through insurance to get the GLP, after 2 months, they say, Nar, my insurance company doesn't cover it anymore, so I can't get it anymore. But there's so much more that goes behind the GLP-1s, right? Like what you're eating, how are you fasting? Are you not fasting? What's your insulin like? Like all of that. So when you go to a provider, they go through insurance and you're just injecting. Well, what about the rest of you? You can't just, you know what I mean? So, and then you flop and then you feel defeated and then you're back to square one again. So I think that it's, I don't know why providers do what they do. I really don't know. Even a little off topic, even when I literally this morning, I was in the parking lot about to walk in here and someone had messaged me, Nar, I've been going to this place that I've been getting Dysport, which is like a different brand of Botox, right? I've been getting Dysport for my wrinkles. I literally do it twice a year, which I don't, in my personal opinion, don't think that's enough, especially if you have like deep set lines. I've been getting it twice a year and it's not like I'm immune to it or I'm used to the medication, but it's just not working. I went in for a follow-up. They did a little touch-up and then now I'm back to square one. It's not working. So here I am. I'm not even the provider that's giving you the Dysport, but I'm asking you all the questions. Okay, how often are you doing it? How did they do you know how many units you got? What was the conversation like? But if she had gone back to that place for the touch-up, those were the questions that were supposed to be asked. Like, why is this medication not working for you? Whether it's Dysport, Botox, GLP-1, hormone replacement therapy, the assessment has to be there. That's why I always circle back to this, that your relationship with your provider has to be super, super good, like top priority for you. It's not just, let me find something, a coupon on Groupon for $6 Botox. They're going to fuck up your face and then you're going to be like, well, shit, now I'm stuck with this for God knows how long, depending on what you've done.
It's always the wrong Botox that lasts forever, right?
Of course. You're like, I want this shit gone.
The good stuff goes away. Well, and I will add for hormone replacement therapy, which is a little, obviously a little bit different. Some providers will provide it, not. There are, just like you've got like the med spas that have started doing and like the aesthetics practices where you can go in, you can sit down with people, you can get the GLPs, you can do all that kind of stuff. HRT is kind of in that same boat. So if you go to your general practice doctor and they're like, well, I can't do this, this is where things are. There are providers that specialize in menopause. So there's a lot coming on, obviously, because it's such a huge topic right now because a lot of really famous actresses are hitting perimenopause and menopause. So they made it this huge thing. What I found for so many women, and if you're listening to this in the South Bay, I have lots of recommendations. And if you're listening anywhere else, I have contacts here in the South Bay that have lots of contacts all over. But what I found is if you can go to one of those specialists, like a menopause specialist, and they can look at how, and it's all your symptoms. So if somebody tells you, oh, I can give you a perimenopause test or a menopause test, they're lying because you really can't test for this.
Yeah.
The only time you can test is at the end when you're at menopause and your progesterone and your estrogen are in the toilet. There's none. And your FSH, the hormone that's telling you release an egg, is through the roof. They can say you're in menopause. Like, that's the only time they can actually say that. Everything else, they're just coming up with, oh, well, look, your numbers are a little. And so then it's like, let me give you all this other expensive stuff and let me do this. So that's why I never do labs. If I get your general practice labs, that's fine. But what I tell people is go talk to somebody, explain your symptoms to that person. A lot of times you can get them. And I caution, listen to the people. I'm a huge proponent of if you're going to try HRT, try the stuff that you can get off of. So I'm not a big fan of pellets only because once pellets are put in your body, they're staying there, kind of like bad Botox. If you get pellets in your body and you don't like them, they're kind of stuck in there for 4 months. There's ways you can take out, but they're not really non-invasive ways.
Where do they usually put those?
In your butt. But it's a lot harder to take it out, right? And so I tell people
I'm so sorry. How do they put it in your, like, they make a little incision, they stick it in?
It's basically like there's this injector with kind of like a needle kind of thing, and they push that in, and then they push the pellet in and then pull it out.
Oh my God.
Surprised we've never talked about this. But so anyways, when I was looking at all this, and I was saying stuff, I had people that, yes, they'd definitely give me a pellet for hormones. And I said, I have so many weird allergies. I have got to try. And even because as I was going through perimenopause, all the creams, I had horrible reactions to them. I'd feel better for like a couple days. And then it was like, oh no, I broke out in hives. Oh no, I had the worst yeast infection I've had in my life. Like there was all these things coming up. And so when I hit menopause and everybody's like, you're going to break your spine. I already had a broken spine. But anyways, I said, let me try these. So I found a doctor that was really willing to listen to me. And I said, I've tried the I can't do patches because I've got latex and adhesion allergies. But I said, I can't do the cream. It just doesn't work for me. And she was the first person that said, well, how about we try oral estrogen? And these are the side effects. These are the risk factors. And I said, yes, but I get that it's like a 2 to 4% increased chance of breast cancer, but I have a 65% chance of breaking my spine because I am osteoporosis. So estrogen really makes a difference.
Yeah.
So she prescribed them. all I did is I took all those bottles. I went back to my general practice doctor and I said, she prescribed all these. Can you keep me on them? And she said, oh, let me look at those. Yeah, I can keep you on all of them.
Yeah.
So now I just took, and so yes, you pay $250, $500, whatever, to go get that diagnosis with perimenopause and menopause, and you need these hormones. You take it back to your regular doctor, and they're like, let me do it. Besides the testosterone, because for women, testosterone is not something insurance will cover. For men, yes, but not women. My estrogen and progesterone are covered at a $0 copay. Okay, so I have a question for you.
What's up?
Because we're going to really put you on the spot with this one.
Great.
Being somebody that I know you have regular cycles
Yeah.
in your early 40s,
Uh-huh.
what scares the hell out of you the most about perimenopause? Because so many of our listeners are either perimenopausal or have hit menopause.
So it's everything that you hear. Well, I feel like when you hear the word perimenopause, for me personally, it's like life as I know it is over. It's downhill from here. I'm getting old. That means I'm going to start having lots more gray hair. My energy is going to plummet. My sex drive is going to go down the toilet, as you say. I don't want to go through the symptoms. I feel like you're just old and life is over. And then your youthful, like, little pep in my step is gone. That's what scares me. And what I was saying earlier, I can't get a fucking word out. Like, my brain is just, I can't get it, like, I can't finish a thought. You know what I mean? Or like, I'm snappy, I'm gonna have hot flashes. And it's just, what the hell? You have this like beautiful body that you live life through, right? And then all of a sudden, not only does your body change, then your brain shifts. Whether you have kids or not, it doesn't matter. But your brain shifts as well. So that's what scares me. I just don't want to get old.
Yeah.
Someone do something.
Well, and it's so being on the flip side of it. I mean, besides some of the issues that I'm having, which I think if I hadn't done all the competitive bodybuilding and put my body to the limits,
look what you just shared. Like, your freaking bones are brittle. You're like falling apart here.
I know. But other than that, like being on the flip side of perimenopause, I mean, it's psychotic to go through and it's hard. But on the
once
flip
you go
side,
through
it feels different. It really feels different. And I think it has so much to do, again, here come these hormones, but they're balanced. Whether they're, put in, you can say that they are, bioidentical, whatever the hell. Like, I get it, and we can get into science of it, but whether you've got hormones that you're taking or you've got no hormones, again, my business partner is on none of it. She is not a medicine person by any stretch, so there's no way she would take
How's she doing?
pill. She's doing great. I mean, she's got Hashimoto's, she's got celiac disease, but, there's this other shift that there's these other hormones that we have to, again, that insulin hormone that we have to work on. But being out of this roller coaster has been different. And so it's this new navigation point of it. Yeah, I'm broken, but, I'm like, by damn it, I'm going to fix it.
You adapt. You don't have a choice but to adapt.
And if anybody can fix it, it's me.
Yeah.
So
women just are very adaptable. We adapt to anything.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. So it's like, when you hear, oh, I'm going through perimenopause, I'm like, oh, damn, like I have a girlfriend the other day. She's like, I'm pretty sure I have not been fully diagnosed, quote unquote, but I'm pretty sure I'm going through perimenopause because of my symptoms that I'm feeling. And I'm like, damn, like everything, your skin changes, the way you look, the way you process food, the way it's fucking downhill. God damn it, Corry.
Well, you know what's funny? I heard a really popular comedian talking about this, and she says, why is it that perimenopause and menopause are the only ones that we say we're in perimenopause? We're in menopause. She goes, you don't say you're in cancer.
I think I've heard this.
And I was just funny. Like, oh my gosh.
I'm in cancer.
It was just, I was listening to her. I was like, it's like this, we're in this phase. Like we've jumped into it. And I went, because perimenopause started early for me, but I remember when I went through the first part of it, I remember talking to my mom and she's like, don't you remember this from Christmas? How many years ago? Or don't you remember this? I remember getting off the phone with her going, I don't remember. And I was like, is this like, am I going to suffer from dementia? I think that's one of the ones that scares me the most about getting older.
Yeah.
Is I don't ever want to be in a position where I'm like looking at my husband or looking at my kids and being like,
I don't know you.
Don't touch me. I don't know who you are.
Yeah,
or not
it's so
knowing
sad.
things. And so that really scared me.
That's very scary.
It wasn't until I started doing more research that it was that changes in the brain and how this happens. And it was the longest time my kids would say to me, Mom, finish your frickin' sentence. Because unlike you, it wouldn't be like I would interrupt it with a new one. I would say a sentence and just stop mid-sentence and then didn't say it. And they're like, what are you doing?
What do you, is that
you
the
need
end?
to talk, Mom. So one of the things that when we were doing some research in this, I thought what was really interesting, because you know how you described menopause. And so looking at different cultures and how they look at menopause. Yeah. So in Japan, the way they describe it is the renewal years. And it's symptoms are seen as a transition of life and not necessarily like a failure or a breakdown of your body.
Which is beautiful.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
And you know, I thought the most important thing when I saw this word, and it says renewal years, but it says the description is women entering their wisdom phase.
Oh, I love that. The Japanese have it right.
I mean, I just have like goosebumps like thinking about it. Like, well, you know, the Japanese are also the ones that everybody always asks me, how come in Japan they can eat tons of rice and rice is one of the things you pull out of my diet?
And like, sushi while you're pregnant. I mean, you could have sushi.
There's some different things going on over there in Japan.
So when I saw these notes, the other day I was having dinner with a group of women and we had such a good time. It's like this new place and, well, who cares, right? I have to, this is what I'm talking about. I have to stay on track. What the fuck I'm about to say? Who cares about where I was having dinner? But, okay, so when we are pregnant, everyone celebrates the pregnant woman. And then we have the baby, everyone celebrates the baby. The mom gets tossed. It's our responsibility to get over our hormonal fluctuation, recover from a C-section, or if you've torn from a vaginal delivery, heal with that, and then just do it all on our own within a few week time frame before you get back to work. We are not celebrated at all after the baby's born. It's just like, okay, now let's focus all our energy on the baby, and then the woman's like, well, I need to get better because I'm breastfeeding. I need to take care of this baby and then get back to household stuff and then get back to work. So this konenki in Japanese, it's fantastic, right? I mean, you're going through perimenopause. They're talking about renewal years. And it says symptoms seen as transition, not failure. Okay, so what about the pregnancy and then just women in general and going through all of that? So I'm Armenian. I was born in Iran, but I'm of Armenian descent. So just looking at my mom as an example, having her get married at an early age, her sole purpose in life and having multiple siblings was just to get married and have children, raising a family, and my dad was the breadwinner. So she had to make sure like the laundry was, like she would fold all the laundry, cooking was done, cleaning was done. That was her role. But then as we moved to the States and as she got older, their marriage, they're still married, 55 years of marriage, that role has shifted where my mom, I'm sorry to say, she's a little bit more ballsy. Like she'll stand up for herself. She's not cooking and cleaning and making sure like everything is the way it was when she was 20 years old when she got married. You know what I mean? So culturally, we evolve as women and it's very, very different than what we were years ago. So as you get older, now we're like, oh, yeah, with men, this is what we actually talked about this in the previous podcast or one of the episodes, that as men get older, they're known for being wiser. As women get older, we're known for you're just getting old and senile and you're bitching all the time and you're complaining all the time. But mind you, we're fucking tired from all this shit that we had to endure. But nowadays, I would want to have like the future of women as we shift and change to become stronger and wiser and more. We carry more on our shoulders anyway to begin with. So we should be held at a higher ground, right, in life.
Well, I think that's interesting because one of the things that we wrote is this, some Eastern philosophies, midlife is a power shift.
Yep.
And not a loss. And I will tell you, and then one of the other things too, is I was doing some research on this, it was talking about that it's also a liberation from cycles. So it's not an ending. It's like this whole new different phase. And I can tell you, the fact that I don't have to deal with a freaking period and hormones that go up and down every month anymore.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for it. I mean, I almost forget about it. And then I see
your husband telling you, I can see when you're getting your period because I see it in your eyes.
But so that's the thing. So my husband coming to me and going, is it that time of the month for the girls? Or, you know, is that what's going?
By the way, boys PMS.
I've heard so much stuff about this. Like they do
guys
it every
have their
other.
like, dude, am I PMSing or are you PMSing? Like, how is this working out for you?
Well, and let's face it, as women who are married, we have to deal with men that also go through their midlife like crisis thing when things start happening. And
when does this even start?
I think for my husband, it was like 45, 46. It was all of a sudden, it was like he was going back to the gym more and he was doing all this other stuff. And I'm like, should I be worried? Like, why are we going to the gym and doing all this other stuff? And he was just like, I think it's, his background is military. So I was asking him when he did the other like physical fitness test, I said, were you the oldest guy there? And he goes, oh yes, I was by far the oldest. I said, did you beat some of the young dudes? He's like, I did. I'm like, I bet that felt so good.
So good.
But it's so true with men and you see this, but it was, he didn't buy any cars or, have any girlfriends on the side, anything like that. But it was just, I could tell in the way he had hired a trainer that was going to do different stuff. And people always ask, like, why doesn't you do stuff? Oh, no, I don't do anything. Like, I don't do anything
you guys
for
believe,
family.
so this is off topic and to the listeners. Do you find that having a partner, husband, wife, whatever, when they start a new regimen, right? Like get back to the gym or they make sure they go to the sauna or they detox, does that light a fire up your ass for you to start also being a team player and doing it with your partner? Or do you just kind of look at them like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
What do you do? Like if your partner starts to, let's say, create a new habit, like maybe he starts to go for a run every morning. Does that make you want to go with him? Or it's like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you running all of a sudden?
It's probably for me, I'm more like, why are you doing this? Like what's happening that's making you want to do this?
I'm the opposite.
And see, for me, it'd be a hard one because, I think a lot of times, like he's so good with his stuff, I think just because we've been married for so long, and his, I remember at the very beginning and when we were dating for that very short time, he was like, my dream was always to marry like a fitness model, fitness competitor. And so that was me. And he got to kind of watch the whole thing go into it. So, everybody said, does he bodybuild too? And I'm like, he doesn't bodybuild, but he still takes really, really good care of himself. And he's in really great shape. And, I'm still really, we've been together for, 26 years or whatever, but I'm still really attracted to him and he takes really good care of himself.
Yeah.
So, but it gets you motivated to do it?
Because then I always ask him like, what are you doing? And he'll say like, I'm going to go to, like he has this thing with his boys where he does like his morning, he's a very regimented guy. Like he wakes up, does his stuff in the bathroom, and then he'll have his coffee. And then I see him like huffing and puffing in the kitchen. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like freaking doing sit-ups and push-ups. He's like, Nar, all it takes is a little bit at home. Even when I'm making my coffee to do the push-ups.
We listened to the same podcast.
And then,
he and I did.
Yeah. And so by the time you're like months in, he's like wrapping up the push-ups and then he's like fit all of a sudden. So when I see that, I'm like, well, okay, maybe I could do some tricep dips or something. Like
How about you take those vitamins that are on your coffee maker?
Fucking A. You got to get me one. Put a link. Because listen, I actually like it's called, can I say the name of the vitamins I'm taking or trying to take?
Sure.
Thorn.
Oh yeah, that's a great company.
So that's a great company, right? But I bought like a kit where I'm like, okay, I need my magnesium, I need my fish oil, my zinc, my this, my that, my vitamins. It's literally staring at me, all lined up in all my pretty little cabinet.
It's too much to start with. You need to just start with like one really good high quality gummy vitamin that you would take because it tastes good and it's something that you'll take.
Yeah.
That's how I get people taking
stuff. But do gummies really work?
There are some gummies. I mean, they're not the best tasting gummies. There are some gummies that definitely work for
I might as well just swallow one pill then. If they're not tasting good, what the hell's the point of that?
Yeah.
Just swallow it up, honey.
Find one pill. The other thing when people are doing that too, I encourage people to either take it after they eat their breakfast or after they eat dinner. Because a lot of times your stomach just can't handle that stuff on an empty stomach. Like
zinc makes you nauseous?
Yes. Very nauseous.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that would be the key is take those afterwards, like after you eat dinner or after you breakfast. I mean, you might be better off taking those vitamins and sitting them on your work desk, taking them after you had your breakfast.
I will just stare at them. I'm like, okay, fuck that. Okay, I'm going to make a conscious like effort to take
I think
vitamins.
it's always funny when we have like these things that are like do or die. So mine is my water. I'm constantly telling people, drink water, drink water. And I have this big giant Stanley that's sitting right in front of me, and you're here, if you're on a GLP, you need to take these vitamins. And it's just, I like to show this side of us that this is what we do all the time, but it's okay not to be
we're not perfect. 100%.
perfect at what you do. It's
like sometimes I
just,
sleep with my makeup on, so shoot me.
yeah.
But I tell you, don't sleep with your makeup on. Make sure you do your nightly routine. But I have a hard time too. I mean, look, everyone has their challenges, and life is just very tiring, and we need to slow down and do some self-care, really. I honestly sometimes think to myself, I'm like, who cares if I'm like 5 minutes, that's all it takes, just 5 minutes of your time. It's not the end of the world. Like literally, if Mateo was in his crib crying, I don't want to sound like a bad mom. I'm like, 1 more minute is not going to hurt him. He's safe. He's in his crib. We're home. It's a safe environment. It's okay if he cries. But then that anxiety, like, oh my God, I got to get to the baby. He's crying. And then you forget what you were doing just to like drop and go to him, to your babies.
I remember those moments. I vividly remember standing outside my daughter's room when she was crying. And my husband was like, go downstairs. I'll handle this. Like, I'll stand here.
Yeah. Don't have babies. I'm just kidding.
Don't have babies. I would just say that I remember being there. I see those days and I see moms that are there and I go, oh, bless your heart. Because I've been there and I remember it. And I think to myself, I don't care what my teens throw at me right now. I would rather be here. And that says so much coming from me that every moment when they got a year older, I would cry because they were no longer babies. But now I'm like, I'd give anything.
I literally had a neighbor that I met yesterday ask me, so you did it back to back, huh? Having babies back to back. I'm like, yeah, because once I'm done with the bottles and the formula, I was very happy and celebrating. So I'm like, get on it. If you're going to do it, just do it back to back and be done with it. Because you don't want to wait till your kid is 5 years old and then you try again. You're like, oh, fuck, I'm back to square one. So if you're going to have babies, in my personal opinion, just have them back to back and be done with it.
And just remember, it's going to hit you like a ton of bricks when you put away that last diaper.
Best thing.